Authorize execution of a letter of agreement between the City of Tacoma and the professional and technical employees, Local 17.
Move to approve the resolution.
Second.
We have Tara Schock, a labor negotiator from the city, to speak to this resolution.
Good evening, Chair Nelson and Public Utility Board members. My name is Tara Schock. I work in the Human Resources Department as a labor negotiator. Before you for consideration is Resolution U-10657. This resolution contemplates a letter of agreement to amend the current collective bargaining agreement, which we have with the Local 17 Professional and Technical Employees Union. The city engaged in good faith bargaining with Local 17 to come to agreement on market-based wages for 2013. After many months of bargaining, the city and union met through mediation to come to resolution. The city and Local 17 reached tentative agreement for a flat rate increase of 5% for 2013 in lieu of a market increase, with a one-time lump sum of $1,000 to be paid to each employee. This offer was ratified by the union and is scheduled for City Council ordinance first reading on October 15th. The letter of agreement also resolves the accretion of the collection systems worker classification into the unit and establishes a new lab scientist series. I'd like to thank Local 17 bargaining team who demonstrated a good faith professional approach to the collective bargaining process. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Sure, I do. Thank you for presenting that information. So as I looked through some of the information we have, there is an impact on approximately 258.9 full-time employees. I don't know who the 0.9 is, but they're on there. And of that, is it correct that only 93 are Tacoma Public Utility employees?
Yes, those are the budgeted figures. Currently, there are 90 TPU employees and 249 total active in this unit.
Okay, so the reason why we as a Tacoma Public Utility Board are voting on this is because, A, it's an amendment to an existing labor agreement that the board and the council previously approved in November of 11, correct?
Yes.
And the second reason is because it necessitates an expenditure of the TPU funds. So even though we only have 93 employees, directly affected from the 258.9, we as a board are being asked to vote on this as it's presented so we can move forward. And I think I just really want to make sure that our partners in the city and the city council recognize that we're in good faith, bringing this up and trying to support them, and we'll be taking a vote momentarily. But I also want to take a moment to talk about the magnitude of other non-represented employees so that when we have the same conversation on the flip side, that hopefully we can have the same opportunity to present, the opportunity for city councils to support wage rate increases for non-represented employees and also some of the other things that we've been asking for. So thank you for explaining that to me, and I appreciate your time.
So I sit as one of 5 citizen members of this board, ostensibly to represent the ratepayers and the citizens that are affected by the utility. And I come from an activist background, and I'm part of the U.S. culture, which has a healthy skepticism of our governments and its employees. And it's been a hard time in the last 5 years to be a public employee with budget cuts and the impact of our economy on budgets. I have been surprised, sitting in this seat, that part of my role has become such an advocate for the employees. Every time I get an opportunity, I try to pat them on the back and give them an attaboy. That's because I've seen the professional quality up and down this organization, the dedication to that public service. It's Public Power Week. Our employees are dedicated to that mission of serving the public, and I see that. We had a storm event just 2 weekends ago. We had heavy rains. We had heavy winds. I went to bed confident, knowing that I would wake up the next morning and I would have clean water to drink and I would have power in my house. Because I know that our linemen were out there all night making sure the lines were connected when trees fell on them. I knew the dispatchers were working all night. I knew that our planning was done years in advance to make sure that our lines are clear, that our dams are safe. I've been to the dams. I've seen the multiple levels of safety there to protect those systems. I know how hard the water employees work to keep our water clean and clear at this time of year. When it rains that heavily, the Green River turns very muddy. And so there's a lot of work that goes into making sure that the water that hits our tap doesn't have that mud in it and all of it's turned up in those storm events. This is one contract that I'll be voting for. I understand that we have about 23 represented classifications, and we have unrepresented. And it creates some dynamics where some groups are getting raises at some levels and others aren't. But what I see is the success of a team. And I know for myself and talking to other board members, we support all employees of the utility as a team doing their work, serving the public. And in voting for this contract and seeking opportunities to support our employees across the board as we crawl ourselves out of this morbid economy, we're going to do what we can to make sure that your public service is recognized.
One question, and that is, if we approve this addendum and the adjustments are made, will it be a compression between those individuals who are represented and those individuals in the professional areas that are not represented?
Yes, likely there will be compression created due to these increases.
Can you tell me how much of, what percentage that might be in terms of the compression?
Not at this time.
Okay. Is that something that you can get back to us on?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I just want to just voice this, and that is a lot of our professional folks have not received raises in over 4.5, 5 years. And as a result of that, every time one of these type of addendums go through, or any time these individuals who are represented by collective bargaining receive a raise, what happens is the person who doesn't receive the raise is compressed above that. And for me, that's really kind of sad, because the professional folks are really the individuals not only who set the tone, but maintain the professional standing that we have as a utility across this country. And I'm not too happy about voting for this, but I will, because I understand what it means. Mm-hmm. But I also understand that our professional folks that work here need some recognition of the kinds of things that they do here every day, and they don't even grumble about it. I'm grumbling about it, but I know our professional folks do the kind of work that I'm very proud of. And I've gone across this country, and I've heard some of the things that people say about Tacoma Public Utilities and its employees. So I just want to put that on the record, that I'm not very happy about the treatment of our professional folks, but I will vote for this amendment.
Mark?
So I have the same view as the other board members on this. It really places us in a dilemma. These unionized employees, this is a good contract. I mean, this is a useful outcome, a very good outcome from a difficult process. It's always difficult. And this just turned out well, and it's a tribute to the people who've been involved on the negotiating team and on the union side of the negotiating team as well. But the dilemma comes from the fact that we've approved items in our own budget and approved items in that have come before the board for increases in the compensation of non-represented employees after 4.5 years that have not been approved by the council. And so it's just really important for our own employees to know that, our unrepresented employees, that we care as much about them and their families as we do about the represented employees, and we do. This is an organization that has a great reputation. Ultimately, it already has, but ultimately, delaying action on those other kinds of increases will negatively affect the organization. It already has, and it will as time goes on further. And each one of these agreements that come up, although they're necessary and useful, and a good job has been done to get us there, just highlights the fact that nothing is going on the other side. And I just wanted to make clear that we do care about, the members of this board care about all of the employees and recognize that all of our employees are important to have the quality and the efficiency and the effectiveness that this organization has and is well known for. And so I support this resolution, but I really am concerned about inaction on the other side.
I also feel very strongly about this contract, particularly where you have folks that on the professional side supervising people in this union and the compression of salaries. I've seen this in any shops in another life, and it can get to be quite contentious, and we're getting to that point. There has to be a change here on this. Therefore, as a protest to this, I'm going to vote no. So I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Aye. Let the vote show, 4-1.